Hey everyone, Brian here from Vintage Classic Specialist. Happy Saturday. Hope everyone's weekend is going well so far. It is time for another episode of Day in the Life of Vintage Classic Specialist. And as per usual, on Saturdays, worked on my own car. I've been still kind of focusing on the 52 standard split window Beetle, and got a bunch of things in the works for that car. So for now, I'm kind of ignoring the 56 Vert, and I'm also ignoring my 55 street autocross car that had a lifter failure, I don't know, 18 months or so ago, and still haven't put it back together yet. Anyway, so on this one, the big news is this. So ever since I got this car, I've always had an ignition key for it, which, by the way, on these early cars, it's this teeny tiny little guy like this. And then of course on a little bit later cars, they went to the same key, which looks more like that fits, pretty much everything. But anyway, yeah, I got a hold of somebody I've used before named Danny, and let me pull her card out and I'll try and put the information in the description. So Danny Romero, otherwise known as vwkeygirl, you can see her contact info there. I will also put it in the description. And yeah, so she does a great job. I sent her the entire handle, and I actually had I did have a blank also for this car, which I had acquired at some point, and just basically needed somebody to, here, I'm digging it out here. So I had this blank, which of course, isn't as cool as like a proper VW one, but it is the right, the right key profile for this car. And so I sent her down this key as a blank and the handle itself. And of course on these, the key code, or which defines the cut of the key, is stamped on the handle kind of inside there. And so, I wanted to be sure that it was actually correct, because you don't know if somebody's monkeyed around in there. So I went ahead and sent her the handle, sent her the blank. She cut this key, verified that it worked, so the code on the lock actually matches what works, because you're not always sure. And then I went ahead and had her go ahead and make another one, and for this one she used a much more cool looking blank with the VW symbol on it. So that one will probably be my primary door key, and I'll keep this less cool one as a spare. Still trying to hunt down a blank for the ignition key, and then I'll have her make one of those off the code. The code is actually written on there. I'm going to cover up the number on it so you can't make a key for my car, but it starts with a letter P, and then it has 3 digits. You can see this one starts with a 2. But anyway, so yeah, they can also make the key off just having that code without having the actual cylinder. Again, that assumes nobody's like got in there and monkeyed around with it. But so as soon as we hunt down a P series lock, then I'll have her, or a P series key blank, then I'll go ahead and have her make a spare for that one. So I'm pretty happy about that, guys. Like I said, I've had this car for like 4 or 5 years now, and never really been able to lock the car. And not that I would like leave it somewhere overnight or even in my driveway for that matter. It's always locked away safe and sound at night, but nice to be able to actually lock it if I just want to, run into the grocery store or, something like that. Because I don't know, people are weird with old cars. Somehow they think because it's an old car that it's like a museum that you can just, open up and look in or whatever. Most people are very respectful, but there's always people out there that are like, whoa, look at this. Hey, let's open it up and look inside. No, please don't do that. So anyway, now I can lock it. And if you watch the channel, you know that somebody had swapped the left and right door mechanism. So I was not able to lock the passenger door at all before. So now I swapped that mechanism around. So now the passenger door, as it's supposed to be, locks from the inside with the inside handle. And then the outside, I can lock it with a key. So I'm feeling very modern now, guys, with the actual ability to lock my car. So the other thing I did today was start kind of messing around with the wire clips for the scrapers here to make sure that when the scrapers come, which again, the actual scrapers for these, you can just get those from Wolfsburg West. They're pretty readily available. And the wires for them you can also get from Wolfsburg West. I think it used to be that you had to get them from like K for Nostalgia or one of the more specialized shops, but now Wolfsburg has them. I think these actually came from K for Nostalgia. Anyway, I just started like test fitting stuff, and the inner and outer on this door fit great. This is a split window door. The other side, guys, I don't know. I think this door might technically be an oval window door. It definitely has provisions right there for a vent wing, and you can see the pressing of the door up there is a little bit different than that one. So I think this is probably an oval window door. Somebody at some point converted it to a split window door, and so they took out all the junk that would normally be right here for the vent wing, and you know, so this is the door that's on the car. The issue with it is that the scrapers, or excuse me, the wire clips for the scrapers don't exactly fit as they're supposed to. Well, let me back up a little bit. So the outer one actually went right in with the hole spacing for the split window wires. The only thing is it didn't have a hole in the back, so I very painstakingly drilled one, which is hard to drill because you got to drill at an angle there. So I added one there, and then likewise it didn't have one up front, so I also added this hole. If you can see that there in the dark, yeah, there it is. So I added this hole up here too. Again, very hard because you're kind of like drilling at an angle, and then I went in with a Dremel tool at an angle and kind of opened it up into a little bit more of a slot until the wire clip would actually like pop in there. So that one I'm pretty happy with now. The inner one though, kind of a mess, guys. I guess the spacing on this one was more like an oval window where the scraper, you know, essentially like stops over here somewhere, because then the vent window is from there forward. And so the oval window, you know, scraper wire, which again they're shorter, it actually fit and lined up to about here, and then just of course stopped. And then at some point somebody had drilled a couple additional holes here, but the spacing of the oval window wire clip wasn't the same. I think these were almost like random spacing, these last couple here. So basically what I ended up having to do was I went ahead and put in of course this all has to come back out when the scrapers go in, but I want to have everything prepared so that when it does go together, it just goes together. So what I think I'm going to do is overlap, so you can see the one wire clip ends here, and then the other one begins there. So those overlap, and then this one runs forward. Well, this spacing, again, on these last couple holes didn't correspond to anything. So basically what I did was I took one of the split window ones that I had, and this is special wire. This is like a spring gauge wire. So what I did was I used the first little, I don't know what you call that, little retainer feature on there, and then the second one I straightened it out and basically reformed it to line up with this hole, and then likewise the third one, straighten it up. You can see how, let me show you guys this here. So if I line up the first one there, you can see how this one is off. It was off a little bit, and this one, it's really hard to tell, guys, and the camera angle is throwing it off. This one was off even more, like 1/4 inch. So I pretty much like straightened this thing out and reformed a couple of the little retention features on it, and then I'll overlap it with that one, and I think it's all going to go together okay, guys. Bit of a pain and not, you know, the most exciting thing to talk about on a day of the life episode, but that's kind of how I spent my day. The good news is now when the scrapers and everything come in, at least they should go in relatively easy, because I did all that work in advance. So again, not the most exciting thing ever. Let me show you guys one thing related to our projects that I don't think I've showed you before. So this 68 Ghia that came in most recently which we've already started some preliminary, sanding and stuff on. That car is super rusty, kind of like the green 68 was, all in here and in the luggage area back there, just like everywhere. And so we actually ended up buying a wrecked in the front 68 Ghia. It's almost a complete car. I mean, it's missing the engine and some other stuff like that. But so I think what we're going to do is we're going to this is going to be our donor for metal for that car. So Renee is going to like straighten out this damage that kind of went up almost to or pretty much to the A-pillar. He's going to straighten all that out first, and then so that because we have to use a bunch of this metal here too. So unless we can find like a donor front half of the car, we're probably going to straighten this out and use up to about here. And then the good thing about Ghias is, and there aren't many when it comes to sheet metal, is that a lot of the stuff in front that's rusted out on the actual car, a lot of that sheet metal is available. So, but a lot of the stuff here that we need, all in here and stuff like that, it's just not available, guys. So this is our donor car for that upcoming Ghia. I don't think I showed it to you yet. Came in about a week ago, so wanted to go ahead and show you guys that as well. So guys, that is it for Saturday episode. I will see you all again on Monday. Thank you all for watching, and please enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll see you again soon. Bye.